I took our son to visit my wife on set, and her lover told me to get lost. It was a long holiday weekend, so I took my son to visit his mother on her film set. Just as we arrived, a motorhome swerved past me and cut me off, nearly causing a rear-end collision. After I parked, a man stormed out of the other vehicle, fuming. "Are you blind? Can't you see this is a reserved spot?" I was about to argue with him when I realized the motorhome looked familiar. Wasn't that the birthday gift I'd given my wife, Willow Hayes? And the watch on the man's wrist, wasn't that the limited edition model Willow had given me? The man was dripping with arrogance. I just asked calmly, "Is this your motorhome?" "Of course it is. My girlfriend gave it to me." "What's it to you? You tourists need to open your eyes and look around." "This area is for the production crew only," he grumbled. "The set security is useless, letting any old riff-raff wander in." With that, he slid on a pair of sunglasses, turned and stalked away, still muttering under his breath. I watched him go, and couldn't help but snort. Willow had told me she was swamped with work on set and couldn't spend the holiday with me. So, this was what she was up to, a little on-set romance. I was so furious I almost laughed. I got back in my car, started the engine, reversed, and then slammed my foot on the gas, crashing right into the motorhome. After the deafening crunch of metal, I sat calmly in my car and called the police. Hearing the noise, the man came rushing back out. When he saw the scene, his eyes nearly popped out of his head. "Are you insane?" he screamed. "You did that on purpose." I raised an eyebrow and got out of the car with my son. Facing his rage, I said coolly, "The motorhome belongs to Willow Hayes, not you. Why are you so worked up?" Hearing this, he looked me up and down, then glanced at my son, and the realization dawned on him. "So you're the creepy old stalker Willow told me she's not interested in you, but you won't stop harassing her, using your investment as an excuse to get her on the casting couch, and now you've chased her all the way out here." He started shouting to the gathering crowd, "Everyone, come and look at this, a shameless old man trying to seduce my girlfriend, using his power to prey on actresses. How dare you show your face on this set after pulling something so disgusting?" People around us started pointing and whispering. Willow and I had been secretly married for 12 years. Our son, Julian, was 10. Who was the shameless one here? Julian couldn't stand it. "That's not true," he shouted. "Mom said she was going to spend the day with me." "Bah! Don't you learn from your father, kid? Home wrecking is a bad look," the man spat. "I'm feeling generous today, so I won't make a big deal about you crashing my vehicle. Now get the hell out of here." Watching him stand there on his moral high ground, even trying to rally the crew against me, I simply dangled my phone. "Willow Hayes and I are legally married. This motorhome is mine. I crashed my own vehicle. Do I need your generosity for that? If you don't believe me, let's have Willow Hayes come out here and set the record straight." My words made him sneer. "In your dreams, Willow said you're obsessed with her. She only took this directing job to get away from you. You think she wants to see you? Not a chance." He gestured to the crew members around him. "Get him out of here. A lot of money has been invested in this film. We can't have homewreckers on set." As the crowd surged forward, with some even yelling for him to hit me, I bellowed, "Who dares touch me? I've already called the police." I pulled out my phone to call Willow, but he was faster, slapping it out of my hand and onto the ground. "Trying to call for backup? I can't stand rich trash like you who think you own the world." The one who spoke was a crew member standing next to the man. I recognized him. He was a distant relative of Willow's, Zane Miller. He used to be her driver until I fired him for a DUI. He'd clearly been holding a grudge and was now more than happy to twist the truth. "Zane Miller, he doesn't recognize me, but you do, don't you?" Zane, who reeked of alcohol even in the middle of the day, squinted at me with disdain. "Don't try to act familiar with me. Ethan," he said, turning to the other man, "we can't let him off this easy. Make him pay. Intentional destruction of property means jail time." A few others chimed in. Bolstered by the support, Ethan Vance's confidence surged. He pointed a finger at me. "This motorhome is worth over $500,000. With it damaged, I can't keep to my schedule. You'll have to compensate the production for all the delays, too. I'm calling my lawyer right now. I'm going to make sure you rot in a jail cell. You'd better start thinking about how you're going to beg me for forgiveness at that." I couldn't help but laugh. "If you can prove today that this vehicle belongs to you, then it's only fair that I pay. It doesn't matter if it's mine or not, you're the one who crashed it." I nodded. "I am." "So what?" "So you have to pay for the damages. I'm sorry, but while it's true I crashed the vehicle, you still have to prove it's yours. I had bought the motorhome for Willow, but the title was in my name. She only had permission to use it. Never mind him. Not even Willow herself could prove ownership." Ethan Vance's face turned crimson. "Don't you try that legal mumbo-jumbo on me, everyone. Look, this shameless man crashed a vehicle and won't even admit fault," someone in the crowd added. "If you break something, you pay for it. That's basic decency. I saw him do it. He sped up and rammed right into it. There must be something wrong with him. That motorhome looks expensive. It's gotta be worth a fortune." Ethan smirked at me. "See that?" "I have witnesses," I scoffed. "Fine. Let's wait for the police. You'd better start thinking about what you'll do when you can't produce any proof of ownership." A smug look crossed Ethan's face. "You should be the one thinking about how you're going to pay up. Just wait until Willow gets here. She'll make you regret this." I stared at him coldly, my arm around my son's shoulders, my expression sharp. Ethan had clearly never encountered anyone like me, and he began to look flustered and angry. Zane piped up from the side. "You really are shameless. Once the cops get here, you'll find out you messed with the wrong people. Exactly. My girlfriend is Willow Hayes." "A big shot director," Ethan added, his face a mask of contempt. "Look, old man, you've been stalking her, and now you show up here causing a scene just to get her attention. Once the police arrive, you'll be famous, all right, and your son," he sneered. "I bet he's some bastard you had with God knows what woman." "That was it," I snapped. I raised my hand and slapped him hard across the face. Ethan was stunned. "You hit me, you insult my son." "I hit you," I said, pointing at him. "Willow Hayes is my wife. You claim she's your girlfriend. When she gets here, we'll see who she chooses." Ethan was livid. "I think you've completely lost your mind." I just snorted, took out my phone and recorded a short video of them, which I immediately sent to Willow. "You'd better explain to me what the hell is going on." Willow didn't reply, nor did she appear. She didn't dare, but I was certain she would show up soon. Zane was dismissive. "Still putting on an act, everyone. Remember this face. You'll all be witnesses later." Ethan clutched his cheek, glaring daggers at me. Before long, the police arrived. The situation had escalated, and Willow came rushing out. "Who called the police? What's going on here?" an officer asked. "Officer, he crashed into my motorhome." Ethan pointed at me and launched into his attack, then threw himself into Willow's arms. "Darling, he smashed the motorhome you gave me. Look. He even hit me," Ethan whined, burying his face in her shoulder. Zane nodded vigorously. "That's right, Willow. This man has been harassing you, and now he's followed you here and wrecked your property. You have to make him pay." The moment my son saw her, he cried out. "Mommy," a flash of panic crossed Willow's face. She didn't come over to us. Instead, she held Ethan tighter and shot me a pleading look. Seeing that, my heart sank. I knew everything. "Mommy, why are you hugging another man?" Julian asked. "Child, what are you doing?" Willow said sharply. "You can't just call any woman Mommy." Her words made my son freeze. He turned to look at me, his eyes welling up with tears. I stepped forward and wrapped my arm around Julian. "Willow Hayes, we have been married for 12 years. Our son is 10 years old. And now you're telling me you don't know us?" Willow's expression hardened. "I have a boyfriend. Don't spread malicious rumors." Then she moved closer, whispering so only I could hear, "Just give me some face here. Go home and I'll apologize. I'll admit I was wrong. But I can't be exposed in front of all these people, you two-timing witch, Willow. Using my money to build a career in the entertainment industry while carrying on with another man, lavishing him with gifts bought with my money. and then expecting me to swallow my pride and stay silent. I wouldn't stand for it. Ethan piped up again. He crashed my vehicle. I'm going to make sure he does serious jail time for this. Willow coughed lightly. Let it go. We all know each other. Let's just settle this peacefully. Ethan wouldn't have it. What are you afraid of? He did it on purpose. Yeah, we all saw it. He crashed it deliberately. We'll be your witnesses. That's right. Don't be scared. The police are here. We'll all testify for you. Willow grew visibly tense. Ethan, displeased, caught my mocking gaze and became even more enraged. Willow Hayes, what is the meaning of this? Willow quickly tried to placate him. It's nothing. I just feel bad for him, a man with a child. But since you insist, let's just have him pay for the damages. She turned to me. The motorhome was $500,000. Give me $15,000 and we'll call it even. The crowd erupted. What a big shot director. So magnanimous. Yeah, and you, sir, are shameless for chasing after a famous director like that. You're lucky she's not pressing charges. You should just apologize and be done with it. You got lucky, man. That could have cost you 10 times that. You should be grateful. Although Ethan was still unhappy, he looked smug. A wise man would apologize and pay up. Otherwise, you'll regret it. Hearing this, I couldn't help but laugh. I have to pay for crashing my own vehicle? On the other hand, how many years in prison and how much in fines should you get for stealing my vehicle? Ethan exploded. What are you talking about? What do you mean, your vehicle? I produced my identification and the purchase records for the motorhome and handed them to the police officer. Willow Hayes, you cheated on me during our marriage and used my property to buy your lover's affection today. In front of everyone, I am officially informing you we are getting a divorce. The officer carefully verified my documents, checked the motorhome's registration, and then nodded at me. The vehicle is indeed registered to you, sir. Ethan's world crumbled. He whipped his head around to look at Willow, then a twisted understanding dawned on his face. I get it. It must be you. You're the one obsessed with Willow, so you gave her this motorhome to win her over, right? Willow nodded frantically. Yes, that's it. I didn't want to be harassed by him, so I had no choice but to accept it. I never even used it myself. I gave it to my boyfriend. She turned to me. Mr. Grant, you've harassed me relentlessly, and today you went so far as to crash a vehicle just to force me to see you. I can't believe you'd do this. I almost laughed out loud. The sheer audacity of Willow Hayes was breathtaking. Willow said sternly, Sincere Grant, I know you run a massive corporation, but please don't humiliate me like this. Your actions will have repercussions for your company at the mention of my name. The crowd exploded again. Sincere Grant? He's the head of Grant Enterprises. Oh my God, I can't believe he's that Sincere Grant. Wait, what does Sincere Grant even see in her? Willow Hayes must be in her late 30s. Willow Hayes was a nobody, and then suddenly she was famous. There had to be a patron behind her. Turns out it was Sincere Grant all along. He's notoriously picky about looks. He must have fallen for her face. This is some serious tea. The crowd's opinions were now a mixed bag. I looked straight at Willow. Are you sure you want to speak to me like this? I've already told you, Mr. Grant, I will not accept any more of your financial support, she said primly, then lowered her voice again. Sincere, go home. If this gets any bigger, it won't be good for either of us. I scoffed and pulled out my phone. Get the team to the set, immediately, and cut all of Willow Hayes' resources. Everything. Willow's face contorted with rage. Sincere Grant, you're trying to blacklist me just because I rejected your advances. Her words whipped the crowd into a frenzy of righteous indignation. A corporate giant persecuting a director. He has no class. He's a menace to society. A blight on the world. Suddenly, an egg flew through the air. I quickly shielded Julian and dodged. Willow Hayes, I snarled. If you incite them to attack me, I will not let a single one of them go. The police are right here. Let's see who dares to make a move. The officer, not wanting a riot on his hands, shouted, Everyone, calm down. You'll go to jail for assault. They didn't dare step forward, but the air was thick with their vile curses. Julian finally burst into tears. I patted his shoulder and told him, "This is the first lesson society will teach you. Look at them. They lose all reason the moment someone manipulates them. But I wouldn't have come here if I was afraid. Willow Hayes, this is your last chance." She remained silent. I shook my head. She had just thrown away her final opportunity. She couldn't blame me for what came next. By now the film set was swarmed. More and more online influencers were arriving, eager to get the scoop. I wasn't worried at all. I had already asked my butler, Alfred, to bring our marriage certificate. Zane Miller stepped forward. "Mr. Grant, we know your family is powerful, but Willow has her own ambitions. Now that she has rejected you, you've had your fit and crashed the motorhome. Let's just call it even. From now on, please stop harassing Willow," Zane added with a sneer. "Yeah, you old man, take a look at yourself. You think you can just show up with your little bastard and try to extort us? I could tolerate their attacks on me, but I would not stand for them insulting Julian. Zane Miller, when you worked for my company, you were fired for cause your insults now constitute slander. Officer, my people will be here shortly with my marriage certificate to prove that she and I are husband and wife. I will not let this matter rest." Zane's face fell. Only a few insiders knew the real reason he was fired. He stared at me, his expression turning dark. Willow was furious. "Sincere, Grant, have you not caused enough trouble? I've already made myself perfectly clear." I slapped her across the face. "Who do you think you are to raise your voice at me? From this day forward, I am cutting all of your resources. As for our son, he has nothing to do with you, Willow Hayes. Ever again, I didn't come here today to negotiate a settlement. I came to deliver a formal notice." After the slap, Willow's tone changed completely. She grabbed my hand. "You know my career is just taking off." "Shut up, you make me sick." I flung her hand away. A moment later, a convoy of more than a dozen black cars pulled up, and the crowd parted to let them through. Leading the group was my company's legal team, followed by a squad of bodyguards and my butler, Alfred. They respectfully presented me with all the documents I needed. I took the marriage certificate and held it up for the cameras. "See this? Willow Hayes and I are legally married." As I flashed the certificate, Willow lunged for it, but my bodyguards immediately pinned her to the ground. Ethan's face went black. "Willow Hayes, you lied to me." "Oh, she didn't lie to you, Ethan Vance. You knew, didn't you? You even took my watch." Alfred handed me another document, a list, which I gave directly to the police. "This is a list of valuable items that have gone missing from my home." According to Mr. Vance's social media posts where he brags about his new acquisitions, those items happen to be the very same limited edition pieces from my collection. And Ethan, don't play the victim. You knew perfectly well Willow was married, yet you pursued a relationship with her anyway. The crowd was stunned into silence, then erupted. "So Ethan was the other man all along, knowing full well she was married, that old hag has no shame using her husband's money to spoil her boy toy, and then playing the innocent victim when her husband shows up. What an actress she really found her calling as a director. If that were me, I'd be too mortified to even speak in front of the wrong spouse. She even disowned her own son. What a piece of work. Something about that woman just seemed off. I'm glad I didn't take her side. Mr. Grant is truly on another level. Though his taste in women is questionable, picking up human garbage like her. Willow's face was a horrifying shade of pale, as was Ethan's. Zane Miller was trying to slink away into the crowd. I simply pointed a finger, and a bodyguard went and dragged him back. He had done more than his share of instigating. He wasn't getting away that easily. I turned back to the police. "All the evidence is here. I demand the return of all my valuable property, and I wish to press charges against him for theft." Ethan panicked. "Sincere, Grant, you can't. Willow gave me these things. Is that so, Willow?" With a thud, Willow dropped to her knees before me. No, he stole them. Willow had turned on him in a heartbeat. Ethan stared at her, dumbfounded. What did you say?" "Willow Hayes, you bitch. You're the one who gave them to me. You told me Sincere Grant had money to burn, and that he'd never notice." If a few things went missing with that confession, everyone knew the whole story. So he knew she had a husband. Case closed. He's the other man. The pretty boy looks like he has a brain, but not a big one. Tisk, tisk. And he had the nerve to turn it all around and call her his girlfriend. Now it's just dogs eating dogs. Ethan covered his face, trying to block the cameras, but it was too late. The footage was already out there. The police promptly took all three of them away. At the station, my legal team handled the rest. My demands were simple. 1, divorce. 2, return of all assets. Every cent she had spent on Ethan Vance had to be paid back. Furthermore, when we got married, Willow had signed a prenuptial agreement. If she cheated, she wouldn't get a dime. With Ethan as a witness, she had no way out. At the station, Ethan dropped his pretty boy act. He lunged at Willow, scratching and hitting her. "Willow Hayes, you monster, when you met me, you implied I'd only get the role if I slept with you. Why else would I have looked twice at an old hag like you? You said all the right things when you were trying to seduce me, calling Sincere Grant an old man. Now that the truth is out, you're turning it around and saying I seduced you. You were living off Sincere Grant's money while fantasizing about me. Is there any man you've worked with in this industry that you haven't harassed? Now you're playing innocent? Not a chance. I won't let you get away with this." Ethan's revelations made Willow grit her teeth. "What nonsense are you spouting?" "It's not nonsense. I have all of our chat logs and a recording of our conversations." This made Willow panic. She never imagined he would have recorded her. Furious, she slapped him hard. Ethan's face swelled up, and enraged, he began brawling with her again. After they were finally pulled apart, he turned to me. "Sincere Grant, you're a real fool. The entertainment industry is full of women like Willow Hayes, and you actually wasted money on her." I shrugged. "I misjudged her. I won't be spending any more money on her." I placed the divorce papers on the table. Willow rushed over. "Honey, I was wrong. I really know I was wrong. Please forgive me. It was all him. He seduced me. Bullshit. You're the one who told me to come to your hotel room to discuss the role. You said you'd take care of me now. You say I seduced you? Take a look at yourself, you old hag. What is there about you worth seducing?" Ethan played a recording of a call from Willow, where she could be heard, clear as day, bluntly telling him to come to her room. There were even more explosive details. I shook my head from the sidelines. "Willow, save yourself some dignity. If this gets out, your career is over." Seeing her last hope crumble, Willow rushed over to Julian. "Julian, I'm your mother. Please talk to your father. Ask him to forgive me, okay?" Julian took a step back. "No, you're the one who told me not to randomly call people mommy. Why are you coming to me now?" "Ma'am, you've got the wrong person." Julian's words were like a sharp knife straight to her heart. She never imagined a child so young could hold such a grudge. Remembering how he had called out to her at the set, her face went white, her lips trembling. "Julian, it was all my fault. Mommy shouldn't have said that to you, but—" Julian grabbed my hand. "Dad, let's go. We can let the lawyers handle them from here." I nodded, and we prepared to leave. Willow scrambled after us like a madwoman. "No, don't go. It was all my fault. Please forgive me. I'll never do it again." She kept begging for forgiveness, but I had no desire to get entangled with her any further. I took Julian and left without a backward glance, leaving the rest to my legal team. I wanted nothing more to do with her. The incident caused a huge stir online, and I became a trending topic. Some said I had been the victim of a massive romance scam, a powerful CEO played by a woman. The video of my confrontation with Ethan outside the set became a source of ridicule. Sincere Grant has such high standards. When I pursued him, he turned me down and married some actress instead, thinking he'd found true love. Turns out she was just a cheating piece of trash. Oh please, the jealousy is dripping from your comment. At least Willow Hayes has a pretty face. What do you have? You're green with envy. Even if Sincere Grant picked up a piece of trash, getting rid of it is child's play for him. I've been saying it all along. Sincere Grant is not someone you can mess with. She thought she could have her fun on the side, but she messed with the wrong person. I seized the opportunity provided by all the media attention. launching my company's latest product and directly addressing the online chatter on my public profile. In the process of an amicable divorce. Not looking back. P.S. There are plenty of fish in the sea. If one doesn't work out, find another. My statement quickly caught the public's attention. Countless men cheered me on, and women even began propositioning me in the comments, posting their most alluring photos. My comments section turned into a massive beauty pageant, with some men even throwing their hats in the ring. Bro, don't be so rigid about gender. I'm available too. Sir, I'm a top university student. I can help tutor your kid, Mr. Grant. I'd love an internship at your company. Could you give me a chance? My resume is attached. My social media was more active than ever, and product sales skyrocketed. I had my HR department screen the promising candidates from the comments. I wasn't about to let a good crisis go to waste. I had already lost a woman. I wasn't going to lose a potential star employee. For years I had bankrolled Willow, but her career had remained lukewarm. Her eventual success as a director was something I had bought and paid for. Now I was going to get all that money back. Zane Miller and Ethan Vance were each detained for 5 days for public disturbance. After their release, Willow couldn't get a hold of me and started showing up at my office every day, begging for forgiveness. She refused to sign the divorce papers, but I didn't budge and kept all her resources frozen. Ethan sold off his assets, which amounted to a little over $500,000. He was new to the industry, having just gotten a break in one film before I made him the lead in Willow's movie. But because of this scandal, I pulled my funding, and the entire project went down the drain. Willow was on the hook for a massive sum, and Ethan was facing lawsuits as well. The two of them started camping out in front of my office building, but I refused to see them. One evening, however, I returned home to find Willow in my living room. I frowned. "How did you get in here? We're not divorced yet. I'm still a part of this family. Sincere, why are you doing this? Pushing me to a dead end won't do you any good either. Give me $5 million and we'll go our separate ways." How about it? The fact that she still had the gall to ask me for money made me laugh. You think you have me cornered? $5 million. You've got some nerve. I don't know about cornered, but I know one thing. If you don't give me the money, I'll make sure none of us has a peaceful life. Sincere, you're not young anymore. You finally have me and a child. If you won't think about me, think about Julian. Having a mother like me will be a stain on his name. You don't want him to be ridiculed when he grows up. I hesitated, and seeing this, Willow pressed on. I'm not asking for much. $5 million is just pocket change for you. Just give it to me, and I'll disappear from your life forever. What do you say? Willow clearly didn't know my personality. I despise being threatened. When I first took over the company, some shareholders challenged me, looked down on me, threatened me. I endured it at the time, but then I carefully maneuvered and kicked every single one of them out. I swore then that I would never let anyone who threatened me get away with it. Now, Willow was using Julian's future to threaten me. My consideration wasn't about the money. It was about how to make her disappear from my life forever. Willow, however, thought my hesitation was about the $5 million. I suddenly smiled. Seeing my smile, Willow's face fell. Sincere, Grant, don't push me too far or I'll expose everything you've done. I raised an eyebrow. Oh, and what have I done? No one who walks by the river can avoid getting their shoes wet. A corporation as big as Grant Enterprises must have some gray areas, so that was her game. Fine, I'll give you the $5 million. I had changed my mind. I could give her the money, but she'd have to be alive to spend it. Seeing me agree, Willow was ecstatic. I had my lawyers amend the agreement on the spot, granting her the $5 million. When dealing with people like her, money was the cleanest solution, but a newly rich Willow wouldn't be able to re-establish herself in the entertainment industry so easily. I would, however, lead her right into a new investment. I had my people secretly set up a shell film production company and created a project designed to lure her in. Willow had suffered huge losses from the previous fiasco and was desperate to recoup her money. Ethan was still harassing her, but a reunion between them was impossible. Young, handsome actors were a dime a dozen in the industry, but few were interested in Willow now. She desperately needed a success to prove to everyone that her talent was real, not something bought by Sincere Grant. So when she was presented with the new script, she poured all $5 million into it without a second thought. I had my people monitor the funds. Once the $5 million was in the company's account, I washed my hands of it. The entire team was mine. Willow had no idea. Halfway through filming, she discovered the money was gone. Making a movie wasn't so simple. Before, I had always been the one bankrolling everything. Now that it was her own money, she couldn't make a single dollar stretch. She had a complete breakdown and came looking for me. I refused to see her. She then had the audacity to show up at Julian's school, which sent me into a rage. Willow knelt before me. I was wrong, Sincere. I know now that I'm nothing without you. Please give me one more chance. That money is all gone. I have nowhere else to turn. I can only beg you for the sake of me being Julian's biological mother, please. Just one more chance. She looked so pathetic, kneeling on the ground and begging me. Willow, do you think I'm a fool with more money than sense? No, I just know you can help me. Please, just help me. You're so rich. $5 million is nothing to you. Just a flick of your wrist, a drop in the bucket, and I can survive. I waved my hand, and my security guards dragged her out. Then I reported her for tax evasion. I held all the cards. Willow never imagined I could hate her so much as to nail her to a cross of public shame. The news of her arrest spread like wildfire, and the internet exploded once again. My God, I thought she was just stupid, but she's evil too. Truly stupid and evil. Sincere Grant didn't get off easy either. I heard he still gave her $5 million in the divorce settlement. I doubt it. When you peel a layer of skin off a rich man, you end up paying a much higher price. I don't believe for a second Sincere Grant would let her off that easily. I chose not to respond to the speculation. I had dealt with a major problem, and I had other things to attend to. For her crimes, Willow was sentenced to 10 years in prison. By the time she got out, Julian would be an adult, and I would no longer have to worry. As for Ethan Vance, he vanished from the public eye. The next time I saw him, he was selling products on a live stream. I was surprised to see he'd become a minor influencer, but unfortunately for him, the goods he was selling were counterfeit. Customers flooded him with complaints, and he was forced to pay out a huge sum in refunds. Buried in debt, he resorted to being a kept man, was publicly beaten up by the wife of one of his patrons, and his reputation was utterly destroyed. The last I heard, he was circulating among a group of wealthy older women. His life was ruined. And Zane Miller? Once I abandoned Willow, his fate was sealed. He tried to use his brief experience as a set hand to get jobs on other productions, but I had him blacklisted from the entire industry. He couldn't find work anywhere. He tried to see me once but was turned away by my bodyguards before he even got to the door. In the end, he had no choice but to return to his hometown. I focused all my energy on Julian. He was my only son, and I was raising him to be my successor. The following year, on that same long holiday weekend, I took Julian to a private island resort. Every year after that, we spent the holiday traveling together. 10 years later, Julian returned from his studies abroad, just as Willow was released from prison. It was Julian's 20th birthday. As I was hosting his celebration, I saw a woman from a distance, her back hunched, standing at the entrance. Her eyes were fixed on Julian in a daze. I grew wary and had my security take her to the underground garage. When I saw her up close, I was shocked. In 10 years, her hair had turned gray, and she was rail thin, a gaunt and withered version of her former self. Seeing me, Willow begged, "I just want one look. I'll leave once I see he's okay. Please, I haven't seen Julian in 10 years. I miss him so much I had already run a check on her when I learned of her release. She was penniless, surviving by staging minor accidents to get money from people. Her motive for finding me now was obvious." I stared at her. "You said it yourself, Julian has nothing to do with you. He is my son, and my son alone. Willow, if it hadn't been for your face, I never would have been with you in the first place. Know when to quit. Leave now. I instructed my bodyguards to keep a close eye on her. Today was my son's 20th birthday, and I wouldn't let anyone ruin it. Willow looked at me but didn't dare meet my gaze or step forward. I knew she didn't have the guts. The memory of how thoroughly I had destroyed her must have haunted her in prison. She wanted to beg, but she couldn't find the words. At the birthday party, I officially announced Julian as the successor to Grant Enterprises and gave him our latest major project as a test. Julian did not disappoint. After half a year of hard work, he delivered results that exceeded my expectations. Later, he chose his own fiancée, Eleanor Smith, the heiress to the equally powerful Smith Industries. When I asked him about it, he said gravely, "For people like us, love is an illusion. Where the money is, that's where the love is. A suitable marriage alliance will ensure our company continues to prosper. She's beautiful, I'm handsome. Our children will certainly be exceptional. We are both highly educated. Genetically, it's the optimal match. And even if it doesn't work out down the line, my fortune will be more than enough to ensure the next generation never has to worry about a thing." Seeing Julian so level-headed, I felt at ease. With more free time, I began to reevaluate my own life. 10 years had passed, but I was not yet 50. I had kept myself in shape and looked a decade younger than my peers. Now that the company was in Julian's hands, I retired and began to pursue my own dreams and passions, sun, sand, and beautiful companions. I think the rest of my life is going to be just fine. The end.